Let me start with how I like to compare these two phones together. The S7 is a solid choice for 2021 standards, and the S21 is a solid good phone for a 2021 compact phone choice. Though there's still another choice of the iPhone 13 mini or 12 mini. So let's start. Now first of all, comparing these two phones may seem unfair to the 2016 one because of the fact that 5 years is such a big gap for phones or tech in general. Anyhow, let's start with the recap. Specifications. The S7 is released back in 2016 with the top of the line specs like the Exynos 8890 and the Snapdragon 820 variant. The S7 also features 4GB of RAM with 32GB of internal storage. Well, the S21 however is released this year 2021 and the specs Exynos 2100 or Snapdragon 888. It also features 8GB of RAM, a choice of 128GB or 256GB of internal storage. Just to let you know, my S21 is the 256GB of internal storage. Now, similarities. Both phones have dual SIM support, both features wireless charging, and both has OLED panels. Both also features NFC and IP68 certifications. But they part ways here. Let's talk about differences. And you see some of our grades. Though 120Hz on the S21 is great, it's still a downgrade from the S7's 1440p display, which is 2K. You may expand the storage on the S21 in your dreams, but well, the S7 allows you to do it physically. 200GB max though, but you still get that option. If your mindset is as rigid as the S7's OLED, you can always pick the A series, which features expandability for less. Next, the lack of headphone jack does not exactly inspire confidence when I take my S21 out. What I mean is, I wouldn't like to bring any adapters with me. Wireless earpieces are great, but I prefer wired ones as they provide zero latency when it comes to listening experience. I also do not need to worry about the fact that I'm about to lose one of my earpieces when I'm not careful enough. Now, my Remax RM510s are great for the price, and I also really want to play music on my S21. What's the solution since it's got a 3.5mm connection? Adapters. My S7, just plug them in. It gets more irritating that you need specific screen protectors on your S21 in order for the fingerprint reader to work. Learned a $15 mistake at that. Well, the S7? Throw in any 50-cent one and it will retain all of its functionality just fine. So now I did swap out the glass one for a cheap film protector that isn't gonna give any structural protection at all, but at least the Victus glass remains flawless. One more thing about the S7 that wins the S21, it's got a glass back. A glass back makes the phone feels premium and allows for modability, clear mod, but this would definitely come back to bite the S21 in a little bit. Now I may sound biased to the S7, but I am factoring the fact that the S7 is a typical Swiss Army knife that can do quite anything as long as it's got a power tool. That is. And that's where I'll prove points that the S21 is better than the S7. Before I get there, as you can tell, I'm really improving my program content, so a subscribe would really help a lot, and of course, give me a like. Now, back to the main video. Take the battery. The S7 is a 3000 mAh, and if it lasts just a day 5 years back, it lasts just an hour today. That's of course if you don't replace the battery. The S21 however packs a 4000 mAh battery, enough to last you through a day at least, a day and a quarter at most. I used the phone with 120Hz on, and this is tested using the light usage, though I'll definitely conduct a really heavy one very soon. What about power? It's lonely without its RAM configuration. The S7 is a 4GB one married to either the Snapdragon 820 or the Exynos 8890. The S21 is the one that came with 8GB, and it's either came with the Snapdragon 888 or Exynos 2100. Now I do need to clarify that both phones are the Exynos variants, which I don't actually care too much about how they perform, cause in the end, phones are designed to make calls and not designed to program the whole universe. When it comes to daily usage, the 8890 should be just enough, as this 2016 flagship chip does really well as a mid-range chip of today. The 2100 is the standard that we all come to expect in 2021, which means instantaneous app loading and app launches. So of course the S21 wins here in this comparison. Cameras are a main selling point of phones since 2016. The S7's 12 megapixel camera should serve just fine, and its front-facing camera, which is 5 megapixel, is surprisingly okay for my standards. As long as it's not a 2005 camera sensor, I'm perfectly happy. Now, good luck with HDR captures, though you are into that on the S7. The cameras on the S21 though is a 3-combo 12 megapixel ultra wide, 12 megapixel wide lens, and a 64 megapixel telephoto lens. It's also got a 10 megapixel front-facing camera, and these are the cameras that are capable of delivering awe-inspiring images, and if these pictures are not wowing you enough, you can do 8K 24 frames per second video on the S21. Rest in peace to storage if you do that, since 256GB is a lot and you can't expand storage at all. Coming back to the materials used, which is what bites the S7 back and gives the S21 an advantage, is the fact that the former's got a glass back, the latter reinforced polycarbonate, or acrylic, or in layman terms, plastic. One, it's safer to deal with plastic than glass, since a cracked glass is not what you would like to deal with. Repairability will also take a hit, since glass used on the backs of cell phones nowadays are really hard, stubbornly hard at that, and you might end up breaking more than fixing. The acrylic used on an S21 is flexible, so it's impossible to have it shatter into lovely bits. And also, you can't feel the backs of these phones because with the use of the because you all will be using a case anyway, unless you tell me you're using a bumper case. Final thing about the S21, it's got stereo speakers, and what that means is that you can get surround sound on the S21 and not the boring mono sounds of the Galaxy S7. As you all might know, I'm a big fan of Eddie Rabbit. Now what's that got to do with these speakers? In Rabbit's 1978 Variations album, in the song Song of Ireland, the speaker setup on the S21 clearly shows how his father's fiddle came in from the earpiece and his guitar from the loudspeaker. In his 1986 Rabbit Tracks album and the song Letter from Home, you can hear the trumpet going wild and free from the earpiece of the phone and his vocals that took advantage of the stereo setup of the phone. Now there are also more songs from Eddie that takes free advantage of the S21's potential, and please get him into the Country Hall of Fame, he badly deserves it, for God's sake. Anyhow, I hope you all enjoyed this comparison between my old workhorse and my current workhorse. Also, I'll be uploading less consistently because I found a part-time job. Anyway, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more time and tech related content. As always, you can help me improve my content by doing the TIP TimeTech Improvement Program survey in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. Wait a minute, I forgot something. Clap back! And the music, let's go.